Welcome into Adelaide. I will hopefully have a walk and talk for you, boots on the ground here tomorrow. But it's been a busy old day. Travel from Canberra to Adelaide. The Lions then had their press conference and team announcement for the game at the weekend and various other bits and bobs. So almost 11 p.m. here, finally getting round to recording a video. Welcome back to the channel. What do you make of this team? And I suppose in particular, what positions do you think are truly up for grabs ahead of the Test series? We saw what we think is pretty close to the team for the first Test against the Brumbies. We expected lots of changes for this game, which we've got. How many of these players do you think are potentially playing for a shot at being in that Test team? Particularly the starting 15, because I guess you could do different things with the bench and they might be able to play their way on. But yeah, let me know. Welcome back. Like the video, subscribe to the channel and all that jazz. First things first, injury update. Blair Kinghorn picked up a knee injury against the Brumbies. He apparently is okay. He's had a scan. He is remaining on tour, but Jamie Osborne has been called up to, let me read this here. This is what the press release or what the Lions put up online. Islands, Jamie Osborne will join the squad to provide additional training cover. Does that mean Jamie Osborne has absolutely no chance of playing in a game at any stage on this tour? I'm thinking even that kind of tour game, midweek tour game in Melbourne between first and second Test, is he purely there as training cover? So he's been called up. Kinghorn is okay, but they're going to have to monitor his return to training. So who knows kind of what the time frame is on that, whether he's in line to play in the first Test, whether we're looking at the second Test. Who knows, but he is still there, which I think is really positive news for the Lions, because had he been out, geez, your options at fullback would have been looking out of position or out of form. So I think that is good news. I feel sorry for Tom Jordan. I'm surprised they're calling up Jamie Osborne, not because of anything to do with how good he is. I really like Jamie Osborne, but just because he's on the other side of the world. And if you're calling up a guy as training cover, then Tom Jordan's in New Zealand, isn't he, with Scotland? He's virtually on the same time zone. He covers multiple positions. He's had a really good season. I would have thought you'd call up Tom Jordan, but they've gone with Jamie Osborne. So credit to him, congratulations to him, and he is on his way down under. So this is the team that they've gone with. I'm sure you've seen it already, but Schoeman, Cowan, Dickey, Stewart front row, Ryan Burns second row, Pollock, Morgan, Earl in the back row, Ben White, Finn Smith, the halfbacks, Tuipulotu and Jones, Van der Merwe, Hansen, Keenan, and then Kelleher, Porter, Beelum, Cummings, Van der Fleer, Mitchell, Marcus Smith, and Owen Farrell. Owen Farrell on the bench. Tell you what, maybe I'll start there actually. Andy Farrell, as I said, has his press conference earlier on this evening here in Adelaide, and I asked him about Owen Farrell, and in particular whether it's easier for him to get up to speed because of his experience, which is what Johnny Sexton, if you watched the video from a few days ago, said when I spoke to him in an interview, and I put that to Andy Farrell.
He's the same as everyone else who's had to get up to speed pretty quickly. You know, everyone had to at the start, obviously, and then a few's come in since. I think the art at this stage of the tour is mentally being as switched on as you possibly can for all, not just the lads who are new to the group, because of the nature of the preparation. So there's not that much training that you can do. Again, we're at a captain's run tomorrow, and that's the preparation for this game. But you know, all the learnings are from the video of the games, etc., and that's the nature of where we're at.
Quite an achievement though to be playing on his fourth tour.
Well, I mean, you know, he's I suppose lucky enough to play when he was very young, and you know, you need the stars to align. I would have thought, as far as that concerned, when your first one starts, I suppose it allows you to have a look at that type of thing.
It is an incredible achievement for Owen Farrell. I know that there'll be plenty of you, the majority of you probably, that feel he shouldn't be on this tour, and I probably agree with you really based upon form. I think a Lions tour should be about form. Having said that, I can see and understand kind of the reasons and what Andy Farrell is looking at, but Owen Farrell may well be coming off the bench here. Does he have a role to play in the Test series? Put aside your personal feelings on this issue for a second. Do you think Owen Farrell is going to have a role to play in the Test series? I don't think first Test. I think second Test you genuinely could do, because I think if you name him on the bench, it changes your options on the bench, because he can obviously cover 10 and 12. Whereas if you have Marcus Smith, who covers 10 and fullback, I just think there's a possibility. I don't necessarily think that should happen, but I certainly think there's a good chance that it might. Elsewhere in the team, what are the positions that are up for grabs? That was the question that I posed at the start of the video. And what do you think? When you look at this team, who are the players you look at and say, they're there and they don't really have much of a chance of getting in the test team, which I think there are a few. Actually, not as many as I would have thought, but there are a few. What positions? Let me kick us off on centres. Sione Tuipulotu and Hugh Jones. I feel at this moment in time, Hugh Jones, I think Hugh Jones is the better attacking outside centre than Gary Ringrose, although actually Gary Ringrose is no mug in that area of the field. But Hugh Jones, from an attacking sense, is so good. I just think they're going to go with Gary Ringrose at 13, personally. I think Ringrose is probably locked on. Even when I'm saying that, maybe Hugh Jones has an absolute storm and that does change the complexion. We see that happens on Lions tours. Sitting here right now, I feel like Gary Ringrose is going to start the test. I think he has had a really good tour so far against the Western Force, against the Brumbies. But 12. God, it's been a problem this tour, hasn't it? Let's be honest. Sione Tuipulotu hasn't looked his best. Bundee Aki hasn't necessarily looked his best either. And I guess in an ideal world, you'd go either Scotland or Irish centres. Could it be Tuipulotu with Gary Ringrose? Or do you think it will be Bundee Aki? I think there's a chance it's Bundee Aki because I think if you say to him, get the ball, get us over the gain line, move forward. I know Tuipulotu can do that, but I think we've seen Aki at his very best. I feel like people forget that until Ireland got knocked out of the World Cup, Bundee Aki was genuinely in the conversation of being the best player at that tournament on form, up to that point. Like, he was seriously, seriously good. So I wonder whether they are going to go Aki. But I think the centres is massively a position up for grabs here, and quite what they're going to do and how they're going to structure it. As I say, I think Ringrose will be 13. Could change. I don't know what they're going to do at 12. So Tuipulotu, this is your opportunity. You need to show us something. Should we get into the back row? Oh my word. The back row, as we knew it would be, is crazy competitive. Crazy competitive. And we're kind of back to almost where we were in the Argentina game with 3 sevens. So Pollock, Morgan, Earl starting, Van der Fleer on the bench. I've been saying for the last week or so, I really feel like they're going to go for a Chesham or a Byrne at 6. Maybe Chesham has nudged ahead of Byrne, who's back in the second row for this game. I really feel like they're going to do that at 6. Could be totally wrong there, but that's my gut instinct. I guess they could go Tom Curry because he's that kind of physicality closer to a Chesham maybe. Anyway, I think Chesham for a 6. I think they'll go Conan at 8 personally as the out-and-out 8. So then is it all these incredible options playing for the 7 jersey? So Pollock starts at 6, Morgan 7, Ben Earl's 8, Van der Fleer coming off the bench. My gut instinct is Van der Fleer and Morgan are ahead of the others to start the test series, which again could be way out because we saw Tom Curry start against the Brumbies, and if that's the closest indication of the test team, then maybe Tom Curry's right in line. But I felt like Van der Fleer and Morgan are ahead of him on form on the tour. But I wonder whether Pollock and Earl are still playing for a bench spot. Because I think if you have one of those guys coming off the bench, just like the energy, the carrying, they cover all positions in the back row. They're such good options to bring off the bench. I still think that is a possibility. But do you guys see it differently? Jack Morgan, obviously the sole Welsh representative. They have had a player in the Lions test team going back like over 100 years. That'd be a huge story if he wasn't involved at all. I think Henry Pollock is going to be involved, in all honesty. I love Ben Earl. I think he's actually had a pretty good tour as well. I think Henry Pollock will probably be on the bench, and I think it's between Morgan and Van der Fleer for 7, but maybe Tom Curry. But even as I look at, like, there's so many good options. That's definitely a position up for grabs. And even though I'm saying I think they'll go for a Chesham at 6, for example, particularly the issue that the Lions have had at the breakdown, there is a chance they go with more 7s because they think they get to the breakdown quicker, they service that area better than, say, a Chesham or a Byrne. So, yeah, maybe talking through it, back row, wide open. The one other position I want to talk about is the one we started on at the beginning of the video, and that's fullback. So Kinghorn is out. When is he going to be back? We don't know because the Lions are being pretty vague in that regard. Hugo Keenan gets his opportunity, who is out of form. He's had a stomach bug on this tour. He's been desperate to get playing and has missed game time and has I think Andy Farrell said after the Waratahs game of like huge credit for him, the guts of like to really just be so determined to get back out there. But he's not on good form. He was really rusty against the Waratahs. So what he looks like in this game, I think, is crucial, because I think he will start the Test series now, because Marcus Smith is on the bench here. I really feel for Marcus Smith, because with ball in hand, he can do things that no other player in this Lions team can do. But I think he gets targeted and is too vulnerable under the high ball. I think we saw the Brumbies target him as soon as he came on in the first half, and I think the Wallabies and Joe Schmidt and Joseph Sualihi and all the athletes they have would absolutely have a plan to put loads of aerial bombs up and see how he can deal with them. So therefore, I don't think you want Marcus Smith starting the Test series. As great as he is with the ball, and we saw some of those moments, he scored a try yesterday, he put the kick through for Gary Ringrose, but that's why I think this is so big for Hugo Keenan and what he looks like. And I think fullback is a real worry for the Lions. Outside of that, other positions, you could talk about Will Stewart at tight head. Can he get in instead of Tyke Furlong, who had a much better game against the Brumbies? Who's going to partner Atoje in the second row? Is McCarthy locked on, or James Ryan or Byrne? Could they come in? And then I suppose even Matt Hansen in the back three. I'd still probably have James Lowe and Tommy Freeman starting in my Test team at the moment, but Matt Hansen's had a pretty good tour. We know Andy Farrell's a big fan of his. Maybe he could play his way in, or maybe he's looking at a bench spot. Let me know. Final thing, I'm excited to see how Ben White goes. Really excited to see how Ben White goes. His first start on the tour, has barely got any minutes so far. Proper player though. But I wonder whether it's a little bit too late to be part of the Test team. We know Gibson Park is going to be. Surely Alex Mitchell is going to be. He's played in every single game. Imagine that. Mitchell plays every single game up to the Test, get loads of minutes. Ben White comes in and takes his bench spot. Ben White is good enough to. I'm just not sure that's going to happen for the first Test. Maybe later down the line. We'll see. Those are my thoughts. Give me yours in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.